Hello, my dearest friends. Svetlana Shlapak, the founder of UK Visa Success.com is here today. I wanted to share an email from one of my subscribers at ukvisaSuccess.com who said that I would like to personally thank you for the amazing videos you made on your YouTube channel. I was granted a private life leave to remain. I just feel overwhelmingly happy, and I thought it would be nice to express my gratitude. My biometric residence permit has not arrived, but could you give us a brief summary of access to education and student finance for private life visa holders? Thank you so much for taking your time and sharing your success stories with us. 18 years ago, when I was choosing at the university which subject to practice, I think I've done a really good decision, because this is an immensely, incredibly rewarding area of law, because I love hearing stories like this. I love the success stories, and I'm so grateful for you sharing those with me. So in this video, I'm going to explain the rules about student finance. So let us begin.
Guys, but before we begin, I would like you to understand that for obvious reasons, I don't know your immigration circumstances, and because of the Law Society rules, I cannot give anyone any direct personalized legal advice regarding your particular immigration situation. However, what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to explain the general rules about the student's finance, and it is up to you really to check if those apply to you. And for those viewers who would like to explore the option of applying for a student visa, you're very welcome to go to ukvisaSuccess.com /student and request further information, and it will be with you within the next 10 seconds. It's completely free, and many of you guys got back to me saying that it helped them a lot with understanding the rules. Okay, first things first. Any person without the right of abode in the UK is subject to immigration control. All British citizens have a right of abode. However, you should not confuse British citizenship with British nationality, as those are two completely different notions. British nationals very rarely have a right of abode, whereas all British citizens do. If you have indefinite leave to remain in the UK, or if you are an Irish citizen, technically speaking, you are still a subject to immigration control. And that is because the Home Office can take away your indefinite leave to remain if, for example, you were outside the UK for more than 2 years. This is for those who were granted indefinite leave to remain under the provisions of UK immigration rules, under the standard rules. Whereas those who were granted indefinite leave to remain under the EU settlement scheme, in other words, EU citizens and their family members, those can be outside the UK for up to 5 years without losing their indefinite leave to remain. But again, if they're outside the UK for more than 5 years, their indefinite leave to remain can be taken away from them. And for this reason, it will be safe to assume that even if you have indefinite leave to remain, you are still subject to immigration control, and that is because mainly it can be taken away from you under certain conditions. However, undeniably, indefinite leave to remain holders have significantly more rights and privileges than those with limited leave to remain. So if you have a limited leave to remain, or in other words, visa to remain here in the UK, this means that the UKVI consented to you remaining in the UK for a certain period of time. So in other words, you can only remain in the UK for as long as your visa is valid. And before your visa expires, you will be expected to take certain steps. So you will be expected to either apply for extension, to switch. Switching is a legal process of switching the immigration categories, of changing the one immigration category to another, or you will need to leave the UK. So you cannot stay here without a valid leave, or it is also known as visa, covering your stay here in the UK. And limited leave to remain holders will need to remember that when remaining in the UK, they will need to comply with certain conditions which the Home Office imposed on their stay. So these conditions will depend on your visa type. However, with some tiny exceptions, there is one universal condition which is imposed in almost all cases, and this is known as no recourse to public funds condition. The no recourse to public funds condition means you cannot claim any benefits while living in the UK. So to see if you have the condition, the no recourse to public funds condition imposed on your stay, all you need to do, you need to check your passport and your biometric residence permit. And it is highly likely that you'll see the sentence no recourse to public funds or some other versions of this particular term, no access to benefits and so on and so forth, which is highly likely to be there on your biometric residence permit. So if such condition is attached to your stay, but you still choose to claim benefits, in this case, in these circumstances, the Home Office can curtail, which is a legal term for cancelling your visa. And also you should be aware that this breach of a condition or any other immigration condition which is imposed on your stay is highly likely to negatively affect the outcome of this visa application and all future visa applications. So guys, don't claim benefits if you have a no recourse to public funds condition imposed on your stay. However, what is public funds? Let us have a look at what the Home Office actually means by the public funds. So as you can see, there is a full definition of what the public funds means. But to summarize, for those who reside in the UK, public funds means housing, access to housing, and also claiming attendance allowance, a severe disablement allowance, carers allowance, and disability living allowance, income support, a council tax benefit and housing benefits, a social fund payment, a child benefit. Guys, I draw your attention here that child benefit is considered to be a public fund, and this question has been asked many times, and yes, unfortunately the child benefit is considered to be a public fund, and if you're not entitled to it, you should not claim it. And also income-based job seekers allowance, income-related allowance, which is usually known as employment and support allowance, state pension credit, a child tax credit, and a working tax credit. Another very frequently asked question whether a child tax credit and a working tax credit is considered to be a public fund, and the answer is yes. This is a benefit, and therefore those who are not allowed to claim benefits, they should not be claiming child tax credit and working tax credit. And also universal credit and a council tax reduction, and also any other local authority discretionary payments. So the question of this video is this: can you apply for student finance with no recourse to public funds? And the answer is it depends. It depends if you meet the eligibility requirements, which I'm going to explain in this video. But for now, I would like you to notice that from what we've established so far, the Home Office just gave us a specific list of benefits which you cannot claim if you have a no recourse to public fund condition imposed on your stay. However, I draw your attention here that the list does not include such words as education or education funding. Therefore, it will be safe to assume that, for example, being charged a home tuition fee or full education support is not counted, and it doesn't mean that you will be claiming public funds, and therefore you will not be having recourse to public funds if you have assistance with your education. And your eligibility for student finance will depend on predominantly only two factors: your study plan and your residency status. And now let us have a closer look at both factors. So your study plan. This includes where you intend to study, which course, and for how long, and also whether or not you have studied before. So first of all, you'll need to ensure that an institution where you intend to study is officially recognized and offers a qualifying course. And it is really simple to check. You'll need to check the Home Office register to see if the institution is on the list, or you need to check if the degree which you will be getting is on the recognized Home Office list. And if you go to ukvisasuccess.com /students, you'll get all the necessary links to do these checks. And also it's really important to establish if you are going to study on a full-time course or a part-time course. So if you intend to study on a full-time course, there is a good chance of you qualifying for student finance if your course is one of the following: a first degree or a foundation degree, a certificate of higher education, a diploma of higher education, a higher national certificate, a higher national diploma, an initial teacher training course, an integrated master's degree, and a pre-registration postgraduate health care course. If you're studying part-time, you'll need to make sure that your course intensity is at least at 25%. So course intensity should be 25% to qualify for student finance. So course intensity means how much of your part-time course you'll need to complete each year in comparison to the equivalent full-time course. To qualify, it has to be at least 25%. And you can work this out by comparing your part-time module credits with the number of the module credits which you'll be getting if you were to study on a full-time course. Also, guys, you can apply for two types of loans: a tuition fee loan, this is help with your study costs, and also the maintenance loan, this is help with your living costs. So let us begin with the tuition fee loans. You can get a tuition fee loan if your course is in the UK in one of the following: it's either a first degree, a foundation degree, a certificate of higher education, a diploma of higher education, a higher national certificate, a higher national diploma, an initial teacher training course, and an integrated master's degree. You will be eligible for maintenance loan if your course in the UK in one of the following: a first degree, an initial teacher training course, an integrated master's degree, a foundation degree in dental hygiene and dental therapy, and also the diploma in higher education in dental hygiene and dental therapy or operating department practice. The next question which they will be asking when you're applying for student finance: if you have studied before. Unfortunately, if you have studied before, if you already have a degree, even though you have paid for the education yourself, unfortunately, you are highly unlikely to get a student finance. But there are, of course, exceptions, and you may want to check those if you already have a degree. Okay, so now let us talk about your residency status. And the success of your student's finance will depend on your nationality and your residency status. And there are two types of support which the UK government can provide. They can provide either a full support or a partial support. So full support is a support with your tuition fee and your living costs, whereas partial support is for support with your tuition fees only. So the question is, can you get the full support? You can if you belong to category number one. Category number one is when you are either a British citizen or an Irish citizen, or you have indefinite leave to remain. So if you have a settled status, or you are either British citizen or an Irish citizen, you will qualify. And also you need to prove that you live in England and you have been doing so for the past 3 years before the first day of your course. And you can also qualify for a full support if you belong to category number two. Category number two is when you are a refugee, or you have a humanitarian protection to remain here in the UK, or you are a migrant worker from the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, or Liechtenstein, including all family members with settled or pre-settled status, or if you are a child of a Swiss national and you and your parents have settled or pre-settled status under the EU settlement scheme, or you are a child of a Turkish worker who has permission to stay in the UK, and you and your Turkish worker parents must have been living in the UK by 31st of December 2020, or when you are a stateless person, and this includes your family members, or when you are an unaccompanied child granted Section 67 leave under the DAPS amendment, or when you are a child who is under the protection of someone granted a Section 67 leave and who is also allowed to stay in the UK for the same periods of the same time as the person responsible for them. This is also known as leave in line. Or if you were granted a Kalai leave to remain in the UK, or if you are a child of someone granted Kalai leave to remain, and this person will also need to be allowed to stay in the UK for the same periods of time as the parents. And also, if you have been given settled status because you were a victim of domestic violence, or if you have been granted indefinite leave to remain as a bereaved partner. And if you do not belong to any of these categories, to category number 1 and 2, there is a category number 3 as well. So you may still get a full support if you are under the age of 18 and have been living in the UK for at least 7 years, or you are 18 years or over and have been living in the UK for at least 20 years, or at least half of your life. So this particular category may be relevant for those who were granted leave to remain under the private life in the UK route. Okay, so who's entitled to partial support? So you can apply for tuition fee funding if you have been living in the UK, the EU, Gibraltar, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, or Switzerland for the past 3 years, and you have one of the following: either a pre-settled status under the EU settlement scheme and you are an EU national, or the family member of an EU national, or a pre-settled status under the EU settlement scheme and you are an Irish citizen, or the family member of an Irish citizen, or a person of Northern Ireland, or you have a Gibraltar status as an EU national, or you have been living in Gibraltar as UK national. And this is the end of this video, guys. If you need further help, once again, you're very welcome to visit ukvisasuccess.com/student. I would like to invite you to visit this page, ukvisasuccess.com/more, where you'll find plenty of free immigration resources explaining various immigration rules. And I also invite you to subscribe to a new, very, very succinct and short newsletter where I'll be updating you on various changes in the world of UK immigration law, and also I will be sending various exclusive invitations to the members of ukvisasuccess.com community. You'll only be able to get these offers if you are subscribed to this newsletter. Have an amazing week, guys.